Hello, and welcome to Tea with Lily. It's been a while. Did everyone have a good summer? Well, I did. It was nice and quiet. August is always so quiet, but why it surprises a lot of us, I don't know. But I'm glad we're back to school, back to everything. But as you guys know, at the end of the day, the last quarter of the year can be so difficult. It's going to get darker, it's going to get colder. Our targets are and our goals are going to get a little bit weird, and we think, oh gosh, what happened here? So today I am joined by a fabulous host of people. Um, we've got Caron Pollard, we've got Clare Flaxen, and we've got Jilly Clark. Now, at the moment, my screen is only showing all four. It's not showing all four of them, and we're trying to manage the panel. It's my first panel, and everything is just not working quite right. So, guys, be kind to me. Don't be sending me messages saying, "Oh, your earpiece is falling out." But no, please do. But thank you guys for coming on, and I'll get back to what I'm supposed to be doing, which is concentrating instead of worrying about who's on screen and who's not. So, well, as you guys know, Tea with Lily is a space for informal discussions where the great and the good join me. And I mentioned earlier, this is the first time that I have a proper panel of very, very experienced people talking to us about what? The big refresh. So there's no pressure here. Certainly, there's a little bit of pressure for me, but you know what? With everything in life, you have to start from somewhere. And so I'm putting myself out there as having a panel, and hopefully it will go swimmingly. So today is about the big refresh, renewing focus for the final quarter. And we have Caron Pollard, who's going to talk to us about strategy. Claire and Caron, so difficult. Why did I choose these two ladies? We've got Jilly Clark, who's going to talk to us about branding, and then we've got Clare Flaxen, who's going to talk to us about mindset and so on and so forth. But let's talk about what's in the news. I've got some things back. Strictly is back. I love Strictly, and I'm really looking forward to the lineup of really great talent. I love the dancers anyway, and I just love the celebrities and the egos and all of that going on. Ooh, who doesn't love that? And then we have the US elections and that debate, but I think we will just slide across that. Make sure all our cats and our dogs are safe.
I think they're safe. I think we're all right with that.
Yeah. But the thing I wanted to also mention, and if you're an Arsenal fan, go yay! And if you're not, yay! And if you're a Tottenham fan, sorry, because the North London derby was there, and unfortunately Spurs lost. Arsenal won. So woohoo! So welcome to the Magic Sofa. Claire, what are you having?
I am going zingy today. I've got some peppermint tea going on in my cup today. A little bit of a boost.
Okay. And Jilly?
I've got some breakfast tea and Thames water on the go.
Thames water, is it purified or just as is?
Well, who
knows? How about you, Caron?
Well, I'm killing it in my black Americano coffee today.
I do love an Americano. I've had two already this morning.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for joining, and I'll introduce you properly in a minute. But also, everybody that's joined, please let us know where you're joining from, and also what you want to get from today, and then hopefully we'll be able to answer them as well. Now, let me look at the chat and see who's joined us, because sometimes I can't see who's joined us in the comment. It's just weird. But we've got somebody joining us from Lady Mensa on YouTube, and all of this is going on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So I can never tell. LinkedIn doesn't always let me see who is watching, which really is not very good for me. Okay. Now, let's look at my guests, and I'll introduce them properly and read their bios just slightly. So, Clare Flaxen is an Ivy League trained cognitive behavioral psychotherapist. Oh, how many words? Over 20 psychotherapists. I need you actually, Claire. I have to come and see you in chambers. Or is it
My
chambers? What you
joys.
call it?
I think that's when you're in the legal profession, but I'll call it chambers for you. It sounds good, doesn't it? And my
Yes,
door is
it does.
always open.
Should I come to your couch?
Yes, come lie on my sofa. I'll be on yours today. You can come and be on mine.
Yes, indeed. So you've got 25 years plus years working in the public and private sector, specializing in personal development, entrepreneurial mindset, and women in leadership. And you run a private psychotherapy practice among so many other things. So that is fantastic. We need to get out of our heads and do things, right? So that's what you're here to teach us. Now, Caron Pollard is a business strategist with over 2 decades, full spectrum corporate. What is that, Caron?
I've worked across many industries. I am a corporate escapee, and I've worked with companies ranging from startups to scale-ups to PLCs, you name it. So, yes.
Okay. I needed to know what the full
spectrum is the whole breadth.
Oh, bro, you've done it all, been there, done it. And you're a digital marketer and you're just passionate about empowerment and education and all of that. So I think I will certainly need that today. And Jilly Clark is a consultant based in Southeast London, creating bright ideas for design and branding. And Jilly also does so many other things: logos, flyers, banners, posters, brochures. And then she delivers talks and workshops to business hubs, charities, networking groups throughout London. And she's a part-time lecturer on entrepreneurship at the University of Westminster. So should we call you teacher or lecturer or boss lady? What?
Educator, I think, Lily.
Educator. Okay.
Yes.
Educator.
Yes.
Cool. So let's just jump straight in and ask some of the questions, see how you can help us. So, Claire, what are some of the practical tips for being intentional with our time and our energy in allocating such a busy quarter that we're about to enter, or perhaps have entered?
Yeah, the end of the year is.
Okay.
Hear me? There we go. My back.
Yeah. Okay.
Q4 is always an interesting one. Some people hit the ground running and are full of momentum and energy, and other people feel like they've kind of been taken off track by the break, the natural break that happens in the summer. So I think about mindset as being, I think everyone should really think about it as being an integral part of your business toolkit. It is one of your foundational tools. With staying on track with things, I think this is a really interesting marriage of strategy and mindset. I think you need both of them together. So you need to have figured out what it is you want to have by the end of the year. Where do you want to be? What are you focusing on? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And the mindset piece will come into that with trying to separate out the overwhelm and all of the noise that goes on so that we can get focused. And then being intentional is absolutely about sticking to that strategy, making it step by step specific, but very much learning to tune in to yourself. And that's where the mindset runs through everything, because you really want to start understanding yourself and being really honest. We've all done it, haven't we? Where we have these great ideas, and behind the scenes, we're on our own, we lose momentum, we start procrastinating, we start to doubt ourselves. We have those wobbles that come up about, can we really do it? What are people going to think? Is anyone going to buy? Can we? And so it all sounds great, but we get in our own way. Yes. And that's where working on your mindset can be your most helpful tool, so that you can spot and be really honest with yourself about when you're falling into your patterns or your self-sabotage, or you're just having a day where we all have them, where you're not quite sure what you're doing, or something doesn't go the way you wanted it to, and it knocks your confidence. So really being intentional with Q4 is about working on that resilience and that confidence, and taking that radical responsibility to get yourself back on track, and understand that it's just something that happens to all of us. The key is to not let it stop you, not get sort of bogged down by it, but to know how to pick yourself out of it, how to look at it differently, shift that perspective, and then take a different set of actions that will get you where you want to be.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we've all been there. Some of us are still there, and so you're not alone. But the idea is to pick yourself up, stay focused, and get going. Thank you for that, Claire. And Caron, given the fast pace of the final quarter, how can business owners effectively renew our focus and gain that clarity that Claire just alluded to?
Yeah.
How can we do it? Give us some strategy bits.
Oh, well, are you waiting? So I think what's really exciting about this time of year is that it almost feels like the new year for business owners. There's this renewed sense of energy and focus. And I think we also like to work to a deadline. So that's very much those big goals and dreams we had at the beginning of the year. All of a sudden we look back and we're like, oh my goodness, how is it September already? I cannot even tell you how many people have said that, echoed those words to me. So I think it's about looking at how can you be incredibly smart. I'm a big fan of the 80-20 Pareto. So this is really the time that you can knuckle down, and the things you wanted to achieve this year, you can actually, through being incredibly strategic and intentional with your resources, achieve that. So it's a good time. What I would focus on is 3 things. Reassess your goals, because things have changed a bit. So let's reassess and let's make some adjustments to those. That the current market conditions could have changed. Your personal priorities could have changed. So it's really looking at what you want to achieve at the end of the year in those 90 days. Then it's looking at, actually, let's not ignore everything behind. Use that intel, that data, those learnings you have from the previous 3 quarters. What worked, what didn't work, so that you can really focus on what you're going to refine. And then it's being very, very smart with your resources. How are you going to streamline your resources, the abilities, how you're going to do what you want to achieve, so that that's only focused on that goal and not being distracted by everything else around you.
Those shiny objects, especially around Christmas time.
Yeah, definitely.
All those things. Yeah. Lead up to it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think this time of year, there's so many things that are being launched and sold. So it's a very busy time. It's really just sifting through that, and does it align with what you want to achieve?
Okay, thank you, Caron. Let me just say hello to a couple of people who've joined us. We have Guy Eastwood. Afternoon already, lol. Of course, it's Monday, isn't it? So you don't know where the morning goes. It feels like 8 a.m. on a Monday morning to me, because there's so much I should have done that I haven't done. It's already lunchtime. So thanks for that, Guy. Got Timmy, hello. Happy to be in this live. Candy says, I am at doubt and I'm at doubt and procrastination stage. Okay, that's interesting. Thanks for that, Candy. I'm sure Claire will be able to put us right there. So thanks, guys, for joining. Jonathan McDonald, hey ladies, hi Jonathan. Now Jilly, you are the bright ideas branding person, and I love my branding, but I always say that the people whose shoulders I've stood on, in your shoulders I've definitely stood on many a time. So how can businesses ensure brand consistency across all touch points, especially in this changing place of more shiny objects, more AI, more this and more that? How can we stay focused?
Good question, Lily. Well, the first thing, as you say, ensuring that consistency is key. As we've talked about before, people going off on tangents. Take the opportunity for this last quarter of undertaking a branding audit. So making sure that your message, your colors, your fonts, your type of imagery, the tone of what you put out there is consistent. Because the brands that people say, if you ask them, you know, what brands do you admire? What brands do you love? You know, they'll say Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola. You know, what they're doing, you can emulate, but it's that rigid, absolutely detail focused consistency across, as you said, every touch point. And that's both online and offline.
Yes.
So that you are being very clear to either prospects or reinforcing with your clients what your brand stands for, because that's the thing. Your brand is your promise. You're promising to either deliver a product or a service at a certain standard to a certain audience. So it's reinforcing that.
Yes. So they say your brand is your unique promise or value.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you mentioned something about consistency and the big brands, and a story. My personal story actually was I was doing some work for one of the big corporations. They were sponsoring a project, so I was working with them, and I sent them the proposal and the big brand. They sell Coca-Cola, and when I sent the document to the lady, she said I had missed the dash between the Coca and Coca-Cola, and I had to redo it. And it's about that minute, things that we don't think about. And I was, pretty young in the branding industry, so I just took everything. I had to go back and re-edit everything for them. Before they would, part with whatever they would for the client I was working for. So yes, I totally get that. Make sure that you have consistency across online, offline, and make sure that you have the dash in the right place. So thanks for that. Thanks for that, Jilly.
Devil's in the detail, Lily.
Sorry?
Devil is in the detail. Devil is in the detail.
Always in the detail, and we shouldn't forget that. Oh, hi, Rosie. Thanks for joining us. What are you up to today? Just drop in the chat and let's see how we can help you. Stay back to you. Still on you, Jilly. What are the benefits of seeking out collaborations? I mean, I've met all three of you in various stages of my business journey. Jilly right at the beginning, Caron and Clare more recently. But I think we found some synergy amongst everything that we do. So what do you think is the importance of collaboration, Jilly, for when you meet people? How important is that?
Oh, absolutely crucial is, do you feel that they have the same values as you? And are they targeting the same target markets? Because you can be stronger together. You can maybe pitch for a bigger piece of business. You can maybe have a joint stand at a trade show. There are so many opportunities to do that. But it's back to what Claire and Caron were saying about getting the basics right, not getting too distracted, and being focused on that, not being worried that you're niche. That's the thing. Don't worry if you're niche. Niche is good.
Yes. Niche is good. But then sometimes somebody said to me that if you're starting out, it's okay not to know what your niche is, but eventually will come. You should still look at how you fine tune it. What do you think of that as a general strategy, if as a startup or someone who's a fledgling business?
Kind of yes and no. In a way, you need to build your brand as a niche, because you won't have the time, the budget to market to a really wide audience. So it's build your brand with a particular audience, and you can grow from there. That's what I would say.
Thank you for that clarity, because there's been some sort of backlash around people not niching at all and people over niching. But I think, Jilly, what you've explained is that build your brand around the niche that you want to work with, but then you can still tune it as you go along.
Absolutely.
Is that what I've understood? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Okay. We're getting some. Okay. I think somebody's putting a lot of stuff on LinkedIn that. Does anybody know Jonathan? Right. Okay. So that means that we're getting slightly information that we don't really need right now. But that's okay. That's okay. We're friends with everyone. But please, let's keep this on our topic, Jonathan. But we welcome your comments. But let's keep this strategy and mindset and branding. Thank you very much. Now, so what's the next question that I have and who for? I have loads of questions here. Yeah, let's do positive energy. I think we need it right now. How can we leverage? I think we've already talked about that, but in terms of September, the momentum is just going. How can we try and get that momentum going, keep it going in terms of our mindset, Claire, for the coming months? Just leveraging and then keeping it going.
Yeah, it's the temptation is always to hit the ground running, isn't it? Which is great. And I think a lot of people come back after summer going, like you said at the beginning, like it's a new year. And Caron mentioned that. I think that September often feels like a new year for us business owners. But we want to bear in mind that we're here for a marathon, aren't we? Not a sprint. So we might have bursts. Yeah, we're here for the long game. We might have periods of time where we're going in really intensively and we're sprinting on things and we're really pushing, working hard on something, but we need to be able to sustain this. And what we don't want is that we just hit the ground running too fast. And so by November, we're just feeling burnt out and we've got no energy. And as soon as your energy gets depleted, your mindset starts to go. We've all had it where we haven't had a good night's sleep and we're tired and we are more emotional, we are more snappy, we're on a shorter fuse. Like these things are all linked. So it's really useful to look at Lily's laughing. I mean, we're all human, aren't we? And this is the way us humans operate.
Yeah.
So if we go in going like, what's the end game? What's the long game that we're playing here? And that could be to the end of the year and, but also beyond. We want to create habits that really sustain us, and then we go into the sort of the well-being side of things, which can really impact on our energy. So I always, when I work with people, I try to look at what resonates with them. We want to have moments in our day where we're doing stuff for ourselves, and the mindset bit will come in of like, why aren't we doing this? Because we all know this, but why aren't we doing this when the days just feel too crammed, too busy? What is it that lifts you up? What are some quick wins that can boost your energy? And those can be physically doing something, like making sure you get outside, you know the things that you resonate with and you connect with, but it can also be the way we think. So notice when we go into spirals of thoughts that just bring us down or make us feel really depleted. I think Candy was saying that sort of doubt cycle that she's in at the moment in procrastination. There will be a ton of thoughts going on that are keeping you stuck in that. So even just boosting up our energy and making us more resilient can come from the way we approach things, the perspective we take, and the way we choose to talk to ourselves in that inner dialogue that most of us, not all of us, but most of us have an inner dialogue. Or it could be the scenarios you play out in your brain. If a lot of people that don't have that inner chat will be seeing images or projecting scenarios in their mind. So just pay attention to where your head goes and ask, is it boosting my energy and helping me stay focused and on track, or is it depleting me? And what can I do? What will help me in this moment to get things to a better place?
Yeah, I was laughing, Claire, about the sleep bit. I think everybody knows me that I protect my sleep and it's not negotiable.
Good.
Candy will probably attest to that. That if you call me at a certain time, I'm not picking up.
Having boundaries around these things,
my phone goes on sleep. My family members and my phone goes on sleep at 9:30 at night, and only certain members can get through, and that's how I've set it up. So that if there's a family emergency, then the right people will get through. Anybody else, I'm sorry, tomorrow morning, whatever can wait. So my sleep is my sanctuary, and I have to create that sleep hygiene. So that's why I was laughing, because without sleep, I barely like myself. Let alone the next person. It's true. I know myself.
I know it's 100% true. It's so true, and I love your honesty with that, because these are the foundational pillars that if we don't safeguard them, everything else is so much harder, or it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Now, guys, you've given us some ideas. We've had a chat about that, but now let's look at some of the tips that you guys can give us to help us finish 2024 strong, because I'm ready for that. So let's look at some of the tips. So Jilly, a couple of tips that you can give us that we can take with us into the next 2 to 3 months, so that when 31 December comes, we know that we've done everything, or even maybe 15 December, because by that time it's party season and everybody's down tools. So 15 December, let's put a hard stop there. What can we do, Jilly, for our marketing and our branding? And
sure. Well, first one I would say is ensure that your logo is adaptable for all the possible formats and platforms, because there is nothing worse than seeing a logo cropped really badly, say on your social media profile, or that you need, think about having a landscape, a stacked and a circular version of your logo, a simplified version. So that would be my number one.
Let me put my specs on. I'll type this for the audience and put it on the screen. So Jilly says,
so ensure your logo is adaptable for all formats and platforms, so that it looks professional whenever you see it. Because certainly, there's a few howlers out there that need adjusting. And the second one, especially seeing that Guy has joined us today.
Yes, Mr. Guy.
Yes. I met Guy through SBS, Small Business Sunday. Now, ex-Dragon, Theo Pafitis, is a great supporter of UK small businesses. Every Sunday, he runs a competition on X and Instagram. That is an amazing boost to your business. So if you follow him, it will explain between 5:30 and 7 every Sunday. You can send him a post about your business, whether that's a service or a product.
Okay.
Every Monday evening, he picks winners.
Okay.
There's only ever been just over 4,000 winners in 13 years. So it's a very select group. He will then repost to his 500,000 followers. There's a private Facebook group. He runs a free, amazing one-day conference in February every year.
Okay.
And regional boot camps, all from posting about your business.
Oh, fantastic. So, Jilly, what you're saying is that we just join that group and we might be able to get some free airtime.
Well, what you do is you have to post Theo once on a Sunday. It took me 3.5 years. Some people are lucky. It happens the first time. It took me 3.5 years. So in business, you need resilience.
Right. So, Jilly, could you please add the link to the LinkedIn group under this when we finished, as to how we do this? Because I think I couldn't type it all. It was a bit. So if you can show us how to do it under LinkedIn, then everybody can see it after this. Okay. Now, Caron, what 2 tips can we take from now, from the 16th of September to the 15th of December, to make sure that we finish 2024 strong?
Sure. So 2 things I would focus on is, number 1, start with the end in mind and celebrate all successes along the way. Like Claire said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So every micro step forward is a step forward closer to your goals. And number 2, no person is an island. So make yourself accountable, get an accountability buddy. You don't have to do it on your own. Claire and I are actually, we've set something up to support everybody to help them achieve their Q4 goals, called the Q4 Goal Reset, where we are going to meet with you once a month for a deep dive session to give you the mindset and strategy support to get you achieving those goals, keep the stamina to keep going, and then look back on what you've achieved. We've got a fantastic community. And for anybody that joins us today, we start on Wednesday. But anybody that joins us today, because we're so passionate about implementation and getting it done, anybody that signs up, they get a free one-to-one with Claire and I for 60 minutes, valued at £350. But if you sign up today, it's 97 quid. It's a no-brainer because we just want to make goal setting and achievement as accessible as possible.
Right. Thank you very much for that. And again, I think we start, a lot of people, and I'm glad that you're doing it now, because a lot of people tend to start doing that in January. January is when we should be doing. Now is when we should be planning to do or start doing some of it. So yeah, that's why we've got the big refresh. Starting it now, and then January, it's not. And January's cold anyway. January's cold. The bills are long. The bills are coming. The money is short, and the month is long. All of that. How do you feel? Because Claire's got this face off. It's true. It's a long month with very small money, because it's taken all in December. Anyway, I digress. Thank you very much for that. And Claire, what are the two things that you can share with us in terms of getting ourselves out of our minds and doing, rather than just sitting there and procrastinating?
Has Lily frozen for other people, or is it just me?
Yeah, frozen.
All right, I'm going to jump on then and take those two top tips. Yeah. Good. Can you still hear me, Lily?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Great. We do want to get her out of our own heads. So the first step to doing that is to be able to start tuning in and listening to what is actually going on. Most of the time we're on autopilot. So a starting point is to start just checking in with yourself. When you find yourself procrastinating, or your confidence is wobbling, or you're just avoiding doing all those things you should be doing, stop for a minute, take a deep breath, and just sort of ground yourself, slow it down, and ask yourself, what am I telling myself right now? What is going on in this head of mine? And then get curious about it. Stop and think about it and challenge yourself to either say, okay, does this fit the facts of what's going on? Is this accurate right now? Or am I going into some kind of pattern? And challenge yourself to come up with 3 different possibilities, 3 different ways of looking at this situation, 3 different ways of playing out what might happen, so that you can break your cycles and then just decide, okay, you get to choose then what's the next step I want to take, even if you're not feeling confident. Like, don't let emotions and our feelings and thoughts be fact. They're information and they're not direction. They don't get to tell us what to do. So learn to tune in, but separate out a bit and get curious about what's going on. Yeah.
And I mean, I know that there are times that you almost get crippled by maybe you feel that you cannot move because you've got so many different things going, so many possibilities. How can we just choose one, the best of one, and just go with it? Because otherwise we wouldn't do anything. And procrastination is something that I suffer from, and I think a whole host of us suffer from.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's really common. Procrastination is always about fear of some sort. It could be a big fear, like I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to go live, I'm going to put an offer out, and it will just fail, and everyone's going to think I'm an idiot. It could be this big fear about, am I going to be able to do this? Or it could be a small fear, like this feels overwhelming, or I think this is going to be boring, or it's difficult, I'd rather be doing something else. So when we see it as fear, we can ask ourselves, well, what are we fearing? And then a lovely phrase to challenge the procrastination is, I choose to do this even though it's frightening, or I choose to do this even though it's boring. And it allows your brain to just sort of come off being the bodyguard and just go, okay, actually Claire's got this. She's, because your brain's picking up on what's happening in your body. So if you're feeling apprehensive or overwhelmed, or you're absolutely right, Lily, it's paralyzing when you get into that procrastination. Your brain will be picking up all the cues that you don't want to do this. So you need to consciously say, okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Like, this is out of my comfort zone, or I'm not sure, but I choose to do it anyway, because then you break that biofeedback loop and you get to put yourself back in the driving seat. And I 100% think, I reiterate what Caron's been saying about getting support. When we get so stuck in it all, it's so hard to see clearly and to have that objectivity. So get yourself a sounding board, get yourself a group of people that help you to work through things, or know where those people are, like coming and joining one of your Teas with Lilies, like what's going to help you get out of your head, get some perspective, and have a sounding board. And that's exactly why we started the boot camp, is to give some space to work through these things, because we've been there as well. We will be there in the future. It's part of it. It's part of the process. So we need to embrace it, but not get stuck in it, and find a different way of doing things.
Oh, thanks so much. I've got a comment here saying, seems we all do suffer from, is it Divan? I hope I've pronounced your name right. Thank you very much for showing vulnerability here, because this is what it's all about. We seem to do, she says, we seems we do all suffer from procrastination at some time. Yeah. Mine is to do with imposter syndrome. Yeah. And it's about thinking that we're not enough, or we're not, or you mentioned, Claire, that people will laugh at us because we're falling flat on our faces. But guess what? Some of the best people who've done things have started from somewhere, and they have failed. It's about learning from what that failure is. And I personally, I think we can do so much more if we just realize, just put in ourselves that, yes, it's part of life. And we may occasionally fall over. I fell over running a 5K, and I'm still suffering with this hand. I can't shake people's hands. But when I was going out, I didn't think I was going to fall over and hurt myself. But I still wake up every day. I've done my 4K this morning, because I know, do you know what? If I don't do that, another mindset thing. If I don't do that, my day doesn't go as well, because the sweat is like, somebody called it, it's called fat, sweat is fat crying. I say sweat. I say, for me, sweat is me pouring out the negativity in my thoughts. Yeah. Rather than fat. The fat will always be there anyway, but it's the negativity in my thoughts first thing in the morning. Yeah. So yes, we all get scared. We should all do it.
We all do. We need to take the power back, don't we? Just to add on to that, we want to reclaim that power and go, it is not the worst thing in the world to fail at something. It's nothing. If you feel embarrassed, nothing horrendous will actually happen. So I will challenge everybody who's listening that if you hold yourself back because you worry about what other people will think, or you don't like the feeling of making mistakes or being embarrassed, go out there and do something that deliberately makes yourself feel embarrassed, or do something less than perfectly deliberately, to show yourself that the world does not stop. It might feel uncomfortable, but it's not a reason not to get out there and do the things you really want to do and achieve. Just exactly like Lily, I love that that didn't stop you from getting out there and finishing your runs and carrying on with your runs. Yeah, we need to put ourselves back in control, don't we?
Yeah. The first couple of weeks, I sort of didn't run at all. I was just paralyzed by fear, literally. Then I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing it again, and I have done, but I'm a little bit more. I watch the pavements a lot closer now than I did before, which is natural.
Yeah, and that's okay. You're learning from it. You've picked up something that you need to be mindful of, and that's fine as well.
So, okay. Now we've got the tips. Now, I know that when you come, I'm sure your mom told you, all of you, your moms, and my mom, when you go into somebody's house, you take a present if they invite you to dinner. So I know you've come with goods and gifts for the listeners. So, Claire and Caron, you do your joint stuff. What gifts do you have to leave, the giveaway you have to leave the listeners with or the viewers with? Or maybe me, if I win something.
Everybody. I mean, we've definitely got the one-to-one that Caron mentioned. That's the biggie. We are giving away a 60-minute one-to-one to the first person that signs up to the boot camp that we've got going. We also have a ton of different free resources that are available. If anybody wants to just ping us a message or comment under here, I can give away a free thought record tool. That's a lovely CBT tool that you can break down exactly what I was just saying, that mindset process. If anybody, I will put the link in, or if anybody wants to comment under, we can make sure we reach out. And Caron, I know you've got a ton of amazing strategy resources as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in line with what we're talking about today, I've got a brilliant tool around focusing on looking at what's contributing to the biggest success in your business, so that you can focus on that, double down on that, ditch or delegate everything else for the moment, park them, so then you can do more of doing what's working for you.
Okay, and the link is, you're going to put all of that
I
in the link.
I will share that. Yes, like Claire said, comment below and I will share and make that available for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited for this. And Jilly, what do you have for us?
Well, likewise, I'm very happy to share my branding and marketing checklist with our attendees today, because sometimes we don't have the time to work on our business, we just work in our business. So it's a case of just being methodical, going through, have you got all the branding elements that you need, and are they aligned? So it's a checklist to guide people through that. So things like your typography, your tone, your language, your colors, things to make sure that you're doing everything right to build your brand.
Okay, thank you very much. So I know I have seen it. So does that mean that somebody gets, we have to send it via email?
I think that would be the best way. Yes.
Email will be the best way. So I have to figure out. I'll put my email in the chat. If anybody wants a copy of everything that is not linkable online, I can send them that email just to make it simpler. So, I mean, I can put my email here right now, Lily. I need my specs. Lily@lilymensa.com. And I'll put that here and you can email me. I'll put that in LinkedIn as well. So if people want to, they can email me and I'll sort out everything else. So that's it. I think, well, how do you guys think I did this morning? I'm asking you three ladies how I did with my panel. I'm
Phenomenally.
Oh dear.
More of this, please, Lily. I think it's a great format and forum to have conversations. Just getting lots of different fresh perspectives and viewpoints in.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So this is the first of many, and I hope that you guys will join me again. And I'm glad that we reframed this, the big refresh, because going into the final quarter, whether you're in corporate, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you run a small business, there's something, I don't know whether it's the darkness, but I suppose people in Australia will be summer for them. But I don't know that there's something about that last quarter, that everything we haven't done in the first quarter and still hoping to do falls into and then there's this crunch of energy and what have you, that literally makes us think we're failures because we haven't achieved everything that in our bucket list. So I'm glad that we've done this. I'm glad you said yes. And I'm looking forward to your lives too, because guess what? These three ladies are going to do live soon because I trained them to do LinkedIn Live. So it's right back at you. And I'm more than happy to be a guest. What do you think?
We would definitely be invited.
Challenge on.
Challenge accepted, always.
All right then, listen, Jilly, Claire, and Caron, thank you so much for joining me. And those who've joined us, I hope that you took a lot out of this, and I hope the end of 2024 is as amazing as you wish it to be. So my name is Lena Mensa, brand strategist by day and night, and sometimes at night. I'm also a mistress of ceremonies. I wish you all the best, and may everything that you wish for be the least that you receive. Take care now, and I'll be back soon on your screen, perhaps next week. Take care. Bye-bye.